Now let's talk about doing characters' bodies, right? Let's talk about doing a character's body, right? So I'm gonna have something like this, right? Just a shape like that, right? I'm not even gonna try. Then I'm gonna kind of work the shape down, okay, like this. Then I'm gonna have the shape come up here like that, boom, boom. And this is just, I'm just playing, right? I'm just playing. I'm not looking at the light box. I'm not trying to do anything essentially animated here, right? So now in there I'm gonna start to add shapes within shapes, right? I'm gonna put something like this. I'm gonna divide these things into kind of like two shapes, right? So I can kind of manage what's happening here, right? I'm gonna divide this shape here like this. And then I'm gonna have this shape here like that, right? So we've got something like this, right? Now I'm going to start thinking about other shapes in there, like adding little lines in there like this. Now I'm going to put in a center line like this, right? And we're going to put in a center line like this, right? So I've started to get aspects. So obviously there's no center line here. I want this body in profile, right? So now I'm going to think about adding other little shapes in here like this, right? I'm kind of looking what I've got. I'm just making this up, but I want you to kind of see how this is all suddenly just starting to come together. Just I'm working something out, and I'm having consistency, right? And I'm got squash and stretch. You say the shape's getting bigger. Well, just watch what I'm going to do. Watch what happens, right? So let me now add a shape here like this, right? I'm gonna do something like this, right? And then I'm gonna do something like this, right? Just lines and shapes, right? And I'm gonna keep that there like that, right? Like that. I'm just making this up from the top of my mind, right? Right. Right. So now I'm put something here like this. Put something here like this, right? And have it come like that, right? So what does it look like this body is doing at the moment, right? It already reminds me of a flour sack. Great comment, right? I'm going to talk about this in relation to the flour sack in a minute, right? So now, before I go further, I'm going to just create a little kind of shape in here like this. A little kind of shape in here like this. A shape like this. And a shape like this, right? Then I'm going to have a shape like this. So no light box, right? Just creating certain geographical parts of the body with shapes, right? Let's do it here. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. Let's do it here, right? just like that, right? So that's enough. Let me yellow this in, right? So I'm not doing super cartoony stuff. I'm doing it cartoony to a level, but not like bouncy, like constructy cartoony. We're keeping it kind of anatomical, right? So now I'm going to turn these into shapes. So I'm going to turn these into shapes, right? Right. So let's add another shape like that. Okay. So we have this. Now we're going to deal with this circle. Oh, look, it's a bouncing ball. Oh, look, it's a pendulum on a ball, right? So again, I want you to, in the chat, I want you to type the answer to the question. If you cannot keep a couple of balls, circles and lines consistent, do you think you're going to keep a drawing of a realistic or semi-realistic cartoon character consistent, right? What do you think is going to happen if you try to do that? If you don't train yourself to keep simple lines and shapes consistent, what do you think is going to happen if you don't train yourself to do that, right? Do you really think it's going to work out, right? Yet some people spend their time thinking that it will, right? So now I will use the light box this once here because I want to, I'm relying on something being in a certain place, right? Now I can adjust my drawing for consistency because of that, right? I can adjust this construction ever so slightly, but not too much, right? Because she's resting her arm on something in case it isn't clear, right? So we have now got this line here like this. We have got this representing the hip. So all these shapes, right? All these shapes basically, oopsie, I forgot the other arm, which is going to be there, right? So then again, I'm just going to turn the light box on just to find that line. That's it. That's all I needed it for. I don't need it for that. That arguably is some form of consistency, but not for volume, right, and mass, right? I do not need it for volume and mass, right? So you can see just where this is going with the body, right? Bum, bum, bum. We're getting all kinds of consistency happening. I'll talk about the hands as well. I'll talk about keeping hands consistent as well. You can all follow along. So again, here I've got to, it doesn't matter anymore because she's left the chair. So again, I've got this shape here. I've got this shape here, right? I've got this shape here, and I've got to look at the pelvis shape, right? So we're gonna, it's better to look at reference, but let's just, this is just a quick demonstration. So realistically, the mechanics of getting out of a chair would not really, this is like shitty animation because it's better to look at how somebody really gets out of a chair. I can fudge it from my imagination and people might think, oh, that's good, but it's not, you know. Always study the real movements if you want it to look more natural, if you're dealing with a more naturalistic figure, you know. Even if you don't have footage, get out of the chair yourself, feel your own body doing these things, and the animation will be better, right? I'm just making shit up, right? So here we can see, right? It's a little bit bigger there, but that's all right for the most part. There's squash and stretch, and the consistency and the turning is happening as we're getting out of the chair, right? right? So we've got something like this now. And it's, you see, it's really not hard. We can go putting costumes on it. Let's put costumes on it, okay? Let's give her like a consistency. Let's make it Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Right, okay, sorry about my singing, right? So let's just do that, right? Now, so we're just dealing with shapes again, right? Now these shapes, we can start putting little things in there to make it look less like a shape, right? We can put a pattern on there like that, right? So let's, right? But it's still all just shapes, right? It's still all just shapes. I'm just dealing with shapes. Okay, what, she's got this on her arm, right? Another shape, right? With 3 little dots in there, right? So once you get good at shape simplification, the thing that you guys think is so difficult, right? Because you struggle, really, if you're honest, you struggle with drawing. You think you don't, and I'm not saying this to disempower you, I'm saying it to empower you, because I always say this: if I say something that makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself, are you interested in getting to where you want to be or defending where you presently are, right? What is your agenda, right? If you feel uncomfortable, ask yourself that question, right? I'm here to help, guys. I'm not here to disempower, but in order to solve a problem, you have to accept, be aware, accept, and understand what part of that problem is. And part of that problem might be slightly egotistical in terms of, I spent all this time and I feel I can draw and I can draw, and well, you wouldn't be having the problems that you're presently having if that were the case, right? It may, like, I don't say this to be mean, that R in the background stands for real. You got to get real before you can be real. And I take my own advice. I am just as hard on myself, right? Which is why you have seen me grow exponentially over the years as I've been building these courses, right? I already had the goods, already had 20 years of experience in the industry, but as I've been building these courses, I've been naturally taking on board my own advice, and it's also happened for me as well. So you can see the consistency in the costume is also there as well, right? So these swirly shapes, we start introducing both swirly shapes, and now the swirly shapes are fully there, right on there like that. You can even do it with creases on the costume. You can put little creases here, right, to indicate more realism, right? It's you can take it as far as you like, right? You can take it as far as you like. It's not, and again, Phanomatics is noticing the anticipation, like, so all what makes this look interesting is not the consistency, it's the laws of animation. It's the laws of animation, because otherwise you can have consistent animation but it just looks dead, like all this AI stuff. Let's talk about hands, okay? Let's talk about hands. Let me start with a shape like this,